I'm Nancy O'Donnell, and I was born in 1912. I'm 80 and a half.
This is an extremely preterm infant, was born about 24 weeks gestation, is now approximately 3 weeks old.
I love to cook. I love to paint.
Okay. The baby was having trouble breathing.
I have a thing called arrhythmia, where the heartbeat goes way up.
And the tube that was assisting him or helping him was out of place.
And then the baby coughed and actually spit the tube right out.
We called for an ambulance.
So you do have to move quickly, and you give them temporary breaths manually.
You're on a monitor right away in the emergency.
In some instances, it is life and death.
And then they saw that it was more than one artery. There were 5 arteries they had to take care of.
It's very difficult to place that tube, particularly in a stressful situation.
And then you have about 3 people running around like crazy. You just know that you're in the right place.
That's the way this unit works, and it seems to function better every year that I've been here.
But even if I didn't come through, I knew the best was going to be done for me, the best.
What you have just seen are the true stories of 2 people at opposite ends of life's experience. Both were saved by teams of skilled hands, teams of caring professionals. That is the public story of Alta Bates Medical Center. What you are about to see is what the public doesn't know. It is the story of how Alta Bates Medical Center is trying to keep pace with the whirlwind of healthcare reform.
Healthcare reform will result in more and more of medical care being shifted to the outpatient side as opposed to the inpatient side. That will drive greater demands on our ambulatory programs like our emergency room and our ambulatory surgery program. And that's one of the key reasons why we believe we need to make the changes to our ER and our surgery suites now.
Oh, I'm in so much pain. Oh, I'm hurting pretty bad. And then, oh, I'm in a lot of pain.
The emergency department we're currently using was designed to take care of 12,000 to 18,000 patients per year. Currently, we're seeing approximately 38,000 to 40,000 patients a year.
I got a 66-year-old lady who comes in with 3 days of fever and malaise. It's very interesting because on the one hand you get the well-insured people, people with very, very complex problems, renal failure, a lot of oncology, and then on the other hand you have the Berkeley Street scene that comes marching through at the same time.
She jumped off of the second-story window onto a car below. It looked like it was about 10 or 12 feet.
Okay.
Landed on her back.
Clearly the ER is the front door of Alta Bates Medical Center for this community.
She just got here. He just went home. We get a lot of people in here who are intoxicated, been using drugs, and been hit upside the head or fallen down, and they're bleeding, and they're angry, and their anger is taken out towards us.
Just so you know, there is a fine madness in society today, and at one point when I started practicing medicine, hospitals were sort of like neutral ground because, heck, you know, something might happen to you, you have to go there too. You don't want the staff messed up. Well, that's sort of gone by the board.
Alta Bates, the emergency room may help.
As the department now stands, we realistically cannot continue to care for the number of patients that we see every year in this space.
I think she said they had about 60 or 80 people right now in emergency in the back alone, other than here in the waiting room. But I never had to wait this long. So just have to be in this pain for now.
The capital improvements to the ER will solve a number of problems. One is we almost triple the amount of square footage that the emergency room currently has. It allows us to have space for non-emergent patients and emergent patients with basically separate nursing stations to segment off during the course of the day a portion of the ER so that it can be used for routine ambulatory patients.
I'm Karen Miller. I'm the Director of Surgical Services, and as Director I cover 5 different units. Okay. And Eric, we're going to borrow your table here. We have very limited office space at this present time, and our hallways are very crowded, there's no question. So our hallways become meeting areas and storage areas. If Silkus goes to room 8, and Blanchette's 12 from room 12 go into room, where were we going to put that? There is no place else to put it.
Excuse us, please.
Patients are wheeled by us all the time when we're over there having the meeting in the hallway. Okay. Doesn't that work? It doesn't make you feel very good that the hallways are that crowded.
Probably not.
At night, when we took a tour and I was showing our new manager some of the projects that we're working on that we hope can come through some short-term renovation plans as well as through maybe a new facility master plan. Okay, and we really have to get all that out of the corridor. But Colleen's talked to engineering about putting in a storage, building in some cabinetry over here to put anything that we need to lock up for extra storage here. Where are we time frame wise, do you know?
I'm hoping to hear this week from him.
Okay. And this other problem that we've had for a long time, this is a leak. So they recommended that we either put a bar around here or at least a sign which is, temporary. The surgery daycare area, that's one of our biggest areas of concern at this present time. We have a huge volume of patients coming through that unit. First they come in the morning and then the majority of them come back to recover in the afternoon. So that's a real bottleneck, and that's problematic for us because it actually slows down the flow in surgery.
The changes that we're making to our surgical suite is one, to allow for better patient flow for outpatient surgery. And the second change is modifying a number of our existing operating rooms to make them larger. Given the amount of equipment that is now utilized in a surgical suite, we get additional storage capacity to house this additional equipment.
I really feel very strongly that the nursery is the engine that powers a good section of this hospital. And although the care is superb, if the physical plan doesn't change, people aren't going to want to come here.
Alta Bates delivers more babies than any other hospital in the East Bay. Because of that, we also see more sick newborns than any other hospital in the East Bay.
Intensive care nurseries is sort of like the last wards of hospitals, where there's large numbers of people in small areas. It doesn't allow for any privacy nor any quiet. They have found out in 2 studies now that length of stay of very, very sick, very premature infants was shortened by an average of 5 to 6 weeks by cutting down on sound, by giving some privacy, by allowing the parents more room to be with their babies.
Even a relatively modest reduction in the NICU length of stay results in significant dollar savings for the community.
On one baby, they actually cut the cost, I think, by something like $56,000. That's amazing. So every day you can decrease the length of stay, allow the baby to grow better, to get out. It's cost effective.
We expect to do a redesign of the existing NICU to allow us to make greater use of technology and to avoid some of what we call the trauma of being in an NICU, everything from the lights to the noise. We take care of a very high percentage of the elderly and the poor. I think most people recognize that Medicare and Medi-Cal as insurance payers, do not pay the full cost of caring for those patients. That means the operating margins that we have are either non-existent or very slim. We cannot make the critical difference in terms of technology, services, programs without philanthropy.
The problems facing Alta Bates Medical Center have now been documented. The solutions have been identified. The outcome of the effort to achieve those solutions will determine whether Alta Bates Medical Center can effectively respond to the demands of healthcare reform. But there is something else at stake. Can Alta Bates Medical Center continue to live up to the praise of a heart patient named Nancy O'Donnell?
Even if I didn't come through, I knew the best was going to be done for me, the best.